lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. The Drive-In Theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. It is 8 o'clock. It is Monday, Central Standard Time. It is February 27th, 2022. You are tuned into Drive-In Speaker Box podcast, live stream, live show, whatever it is we call ourselves. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Slick Doggy the Grip.
And we are here. We're back. We're here. It's another week. We're up here in the studio. We are so glad that you could have joined us. If you are joining us already live, we've just finished up the Twitch pre-show. So if you ever want to get into the secret underbelly of the Drive-In Speaker Box and find out what we're talking about without you, you can subscribe to our Twitch channel there and get in on the pre-show every Monday night. And then, yeah, you can subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. But if you don't want to look at us, you don't want to participate in the chat, you want to take us on the go, you can download these podcasts wherever it is you get podcasts. Just search for the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast, and you can find us. We're easy to find. The Twitch chat already alive with comments. We were just talking about copyright issues, fun things like that in the world of streaming, because we would love to do like movie nights with our listeners, you know, but we can't do that on the internet because the internet is a terrible place full of lawyers and bots, and now that the AIs are getting smarter, that they're going to find us even faster and then replace us. But we're going to talk about movies for the next hour. We both saw Cocaine Bear over the weekend. If you tuned in last week, we gave away some tickets to the Alamo Drafthouse screening of Cocaine Bear. I got my foam bare hand. Got to hang out with the Alamo Drafthouse guys. Got to go on an adventure with Tim League, which was quite a lot of fun. But we're going to be talking about that later in the show. Did you see anything else?
No.
I watched the We Have a Ghost film, which just dropped on Netflix this week, feature-length film with Anthony Mackie and Stranger Things guy whose name just immediately popped out of my head, which I'm so stupid.
David Harbour.
Yeah, and I could not stop staring at the terrible haircut they gave him in that movie. It was just awful and unnecessary, honestly. But we'll talk about that movie later in the program as well. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. I don't know about you, but it was a kind of a slow week in news. Not a whole lot of like things to report. There was a Lord of the Rings reboot announcement, which is ridiculous.
Not even necessarily reboot, but it is New Line Cinema and Middle Earth Enterprises, who did the Peter Jackson ones, coming back together to make movies, and it did say based on Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. So it may right now it's all speculation. No one knows if it is going to be telling the core story of Lord of the Rings and Hobbit again, if they're going to do it, but expand upon it and include characters like Tom Bombadil that everyone wanted to see the first time around, or if they're going to follow completely different characters and have Lord of the Rings from a different perspective, like a Shadows of Mordor type thing.
You know what I think would be cool? And if I were a movie executive, and this could be applied to different universes, and I don't know why no one's done this yet. And I know that now that I'm speaking it out into the ether, a chatbot's probably going to pick it up and deliver it. And it goes, overlords, here's a new fresh idea we found into the internets. But like, you know, Lord of the Rings, every medieval town, every castle place, they have taverns, right? Like that's a part of it. Star Wars, you've got the cantina scene with all these, and they're full of colorful, vibrant characters and adventurers and all this kind of stuff. Why not make like a Deep Space Nine-y sort of show where it's lots of one or two episodes based off of people that are coming into these meeting houses? Like, it doesn't have to, I mean, it's part of a universe, sure, but like, okay, you know, kind of like
most of the
like the Twilight Zone, or what was it, Fantastic Stories or whatever, and where and maybe not like space cheers, as Vince just said on Twitch, but where the common thread between all of these stories is this tavern, and there's like, yeah, you got the tavern keep and you got a couple of employees, but this customer comes in and this is the adventure that they're on, and maybe they get eaten up by a dragon at the end. Who cares? We don't need to see the whole thing, but we see these quests, we see these stories, and it doesn't have to be the universe is falling apart and these 4 people are the chosen ones to fix it. Like, just give me some small stuff.
But some things like that, like the truth of Middle Earth, is that outside of Bilbo's adventures and then Frodo after him, Middle Earth's not a super exciting place.
None of these places have to be that exciting. Like Vince on Twitch says, the bar is the home base, but it's an anthology show. You could have different directors. You could have all this kind of stuff, kind of like a creep show. But there's one place that ties it all together, and it's this. I mean, you're telling me that give me a big city in geek world in Lord of the Rings. Come on, out with the geek knowledge. Give me one.
Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith. You're telling me that there isn't a single interesting thing happening in Minas Tirith that's worth telling? In all of Gondor, there's not a single person rolling through and going, I need a mead.
Gondor's the region. It's kind of like the country. Minas Tirith is like the capital city of Gondor.
Well, then
the kingdom of Gondor.
Yes. Yeah, so in Minas Tirith, they've some just high-horsed rider from Rohan who's out on his gap
he's
year.
A long ways from home. They're not buddies anymore.
And he's rolling in and he's like, I've got the need for mead. And he gets up on the bar and tells a story of the shit that just happened to him and why he's so far out.
Maybe that's what we'll see when the Riders of the Rohirrim anime finally comes out.
I don't want to see more than that one episode. And then he walks outside and gets garroted by some pickpockets in the street. And then that's the end of that story. And then you follow the pickpocket.
Just marked out a rider of the Rohirrim.
Hey, he was far from home. He shouldn't have been wandering around these streets he wasn't so familiar with. That's the thing, is street skills are different than riding on the plane skills. Everybody thinks that those knights in shining armor are super strong, but you get them in a back alley with a that's why
Game of Thrones.
That's why
that's what happened to Ned Stark, huh?
They're just not prepared for that kind of stuff. And everybody has their that's why D&D is kind of like the best fantasy world, is because each character archetype has a strength and a weakness that fits into this world, and thieves are good in the city, barbarians are good in battle, and druids are good in the forest, and rangers are good, by themselves. But you put one of the other ones in another situation, they're all screwed up. But I think a show about this, and not D&D related, but I think a show like this would be fun. And you could make an infinite number of episodes. But the problem that these studios have is they want one character to sell toys for. And they're like, nope, it's got to be the same. We got to put Chris Pratt in there, and we got to make sure that we keep selling toys. And
other than that, a new set of Lord of the Rings movies, which it's been 22 years since its release.
But has it been 22 years since the last one? When was the last Hobbit?
That's what I'm saying. They have a chance to fix The Hobbit, because The Hobbit was none of those were good whatsoever, not even a little bit.
But that's the thing is they say they're rebooting this franchise.
No one said anything about reboot.
The article I
said new movies.
No, I heard it was this was the article that I got. It says in an earnings call Thursday, Warner Brothers and New Line reportedly announced a deal that would see them making multiple films based from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Mm-hmm. No further details have been revealed, and no creative talent yet is attached, although Peter Jackson and his collaborators said that they've been kept, quote, in the loop, but are not affiliated at this point.
Right.
The big news is that there is no longer one ring to rule them all. So, yeah, it's...
They can fix The Hobbit. If they might do Lord of the Rings things, and like I said, maybe have Tom Bombadil stuff or whatever, but they can go and they can do Hobbit the way it was supposed to be done, and not whatever the hell it was that we got to begin with. Other exciting movie news from decades ago, Dana Carvey made a Instagram post that has a lot of people wondering if we're getting another Wayne's World. It was a photo of Garth painting Wayne laying on the couch.
Ooh.
And he said, in the quote, the little tag he put says, Garth says, "I like to paint." And it's like,
I like to paint pretty pictures.
yeah. So that has a lot of people clamoring for a new Wayne's World, and I imagine that we would be right there with everybody for that one. Something else too. New Schwarzenegger Netflix show. Did you see that?
I did.
Fubar.
Did. And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with any Arnold Schwarzenegger content. So, sign me up, dude.
Yeah, but did you see it?
No,
Did you see
I
the-
just read the article.
Oh, it looks like crap.
Yeah, well, so
It's-
did that. What was that movie
It's
where
a
it's like
spy adventure series, and it's a comedy. And half of this little tiny teaser trailer is he gets kicked in the nuts and left to suffer in pain, and that's half that trailer.
I'm okay with it. Give me more Arnold before he's dead.
Conan the King. We need Conan the King and triplets.
Before some of these comments get away from me, Mark Landry on YouTube commenting about the show we pitched. He said, "Make it like A Knight's Tale with gratuitous Queen songs." A Knight's Tale rules. I just wanted to comment and say A Knight's Tale rules.
Any movie with Queen song rule.
It kinda rules.
Highlander,
Flash
Gordon, and Knight's
Yeah.
Tale.
Tyler over on YouTube says, "I've always wanted to do a similar show, but instead of a tavern, it would be a public access field news reporter." I just wanted to say, are you familiar with All Brakes or All Gas No Brakes? Because that's the guy. He is this like just gonzo field news reporter kid that dresses in a suit and goes out and interviews insane people. Yeah, if you've never watched All Gas No Brakes, check it out. Going back through in that was his son-in-law had a crazy little thing called Love.
Well, talking pitch and stuff, Vince said earlier in our little pre-chat that he put into the AI chatbots Pauly Shore in Hook. That sounds like the best. Welcome to Neverland, buddy. Think happy thoughts. Like gnarly nugs, dude.
We's in the goop.
Yeah.
You're doing it, buddy. Anyway.
I would be so super stoked about a Pauly Shore. Has he been here yet? Have you gone to see Pauly Shore at the comedy club thing?
No,
Has
that's
that
in
already
May.
happened?
But
Okay.
Mark Landry just dropped some news on YouTube that I had
Bang
no
rain,
idea is that
buddy.
the All Gas No Brakes guy got canceled for being a sex creep. Well, damn it. Why does everybody that starts something neat has to be really awful? So, I mean, his earlier content was cool. I mean, you know, sucks that he's a creep, but damn, somebody needs to pick up that mantle. Anyway, damn it, that sucks. Well, it's like Justin Roiland's a creep. Everybody like, you know, was like,
that's not what happened. He has that's like a whole thing where it was like, his ex-girlfriend put a restraining or tried to say that he
so
hit
wait,
her.
is he back okay? Do we like Justin Roiland again? I can't
don't
keep
know.
up with all this
I don't
stuff.
know that there's ever been a reason to not like him.
Well,
It's
they
just
canceled him from the show.
they cut ties from him to keep themselves safe. But the whole story that I read about it was she claimed that he hit her. He put a restraining order against her.
What about all the teenage sexting?
I've never heard anything.
Justin
about that.
Roiland?
I didn't hear anything about that. It was just like they said that he may have hit one of his ex-girlfriends, but everything said that it was bogus.
Man, this world is weird. Like, this is a
I
weird
haven't
ass
seen
world.
anything about Justin Roiland being like a not okay dude.
So Dina on Twitch comes in with a little factoid. It says people have leaked DMs where he's been creepy with minors on Instagram.
On Justin Roiland?
Yeah, like
Well,
Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland. And then
Hey.
there was what's his name that everybody like Firefly guy that everybody liked, and he got canceled. He was like a Marvel guy for a while, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he comes in and fixes your franchise, and now we've forgotten about him.
Firefly guy.
He did Firefly, and everybody it was
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon sucks. Joss Whedon's always sucked. I thought you were talking about like Nathan Fillion or the dude that plays the pirate from Dodgeball. I'm like, no, neither one of those guys. There's nothing wrong with either one of them.
I mean, Joss Whedon. Everybody knows he's a creep now.
Yeah. Okay,
so.
yeah, he sucks.
But does it mean that we have to hate those things that existed?
Since we've stepped outside of movie news and are talking about celebrity hot goss, did you see that
movie news.
Vladimir Putin gave Steven Seagal the what's it called? The Order of Friendship.
What?
It's the like highest civilian order, or the highest.
I want the
civilian-
Order of Friendship.
Not from Putin.
I don't care. I want it to be a nationally recognized. I don't care who it's from. That seems cool.
He was given the Order of Friendship for like his outstanding
Service in
national
movies?
relations. No, because Steven Seagal, like a year or two ago, joined like a pro-Kremlin Russian political party, and he's like super into Putin. He's even gone into occupied Ukraine to support the Russian troops and stuff. Have you not seen this? You know, like in 2017, Ukraine banned Steven Seagal from their entire country for
I kind of remember that.
national security purposes. They're like, hey, you can't come in this country for 5 years. But Steven Seagal has like a big heart on for Russia, and he's like homeboys with Putin. So he gave him like the Order of Friendship.
That's so whack. Not to reference any more possibly canceled YouTube celebrities, but Cumtown does a really funny episode about Steven Seagal, and they were watching some of his movies and reviewing one, and it's hysterical.
Now, yeah, so for some of our viewers here that have been with us for a while, you may have remembered there's been times in the past where I've defended Steven Seagal and his martial art ability because some movies are friggin' cool. I am not going to be anywhere near Steven Seagal's corner whatsoever.
So
anymore.
what about Under Siege?
Under Siege is a sick movie. You
Okay.
can't take that away.
That's what I'm saying. And that's where
But when everyone's like, Steven Seagal's not real, he can't do martial arts stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe you don't know.
he
And
used to be able to do martial arts.
Yeah.
I don't know about anymore, but there comes a time in every man's life where he can no longer chop and kick in the way he could in his
Tyler
youth.
says we got to send Gary Busey to fight Steven Seagal. He always loses in the movies, man. Gary Busey never wins in the movies.
No, he doesn't. Those teeth won't save him. Tony Garrett says Tokyo Midnight Diner is very relaxing. Yes, Midnight Diner is very relaxing. Dean on Twitch says Seagal's only global humanitarian act has been stop making movies in the West.
That's a quote. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, you know, Steven Seagal, like, and that brings up a big movie related question that we ask a lot on this show, and it involves with how do you separate art from the artists? You know, when like the Kevin Spacey thing, do we have to go back and every movie that Kevin Spacey did a great performance in go, those movies sucked? It's like, well, no, that they were products of lots of people.
He's back to
But-
getting like recognized at award shows and stuff like that outside of the United States.
But it's like, where do we, because obviously Steven Seagal was not the director, the financier, the boom operator, the crafty, the DP, the gaffer, the best boy. He was not any of these things. He was just the guy in the movie. And, you know, is he the only person that gets royalties from this? Absolutely not. You know, and when we're canceling movies and series and things like that based off of do I say we keep making more of them? No, don't put that person in the star of it. But does it mean we have to go forever, like go burn our DVD copy of whatever because this guy was in it? I think that's kind of stupid because, you know, we all enjoyed it and we all like can say, okay, we enjoyed it, but that guy's an asshole. But I'm going to continue liking this. You know, that's kind of also how I feel about J.K. Rowling. I can still enjoy Prisoner of Azkaban because that movie fucking slaps.
Yeah, because Sirius Black is my boy.
Yeah. Does that mean I think J.K. Rowling's awesome? Absolutely not. Does it mean I want to check out anything she writes in the future? Probably not.
Oh,
but I'm
sad.
going to enjoy Prisoner of Azkaban, and I'm not going to pretend that I didn't, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't.
Sad news is the girl that played Luna Lovegood has come out recently in like a strong defense of J.K. Rowling. And her, like, she's like, maybe people should quit picking on J.K. Rowling and kind of leave her alone some. She's like,
Leave
she's
J.K. alone!
the Chris Crocker of, J.K. Rowling. Which sucks because, like, Luna Lovegood was, like, one of the cool characters. And to find out that that actress is like, maybe J.K. Rowling's okay, you guys.
It's a weird thing because again, the internet and information data traveling and consumption is not only at an all-time high, but it's an all-time fast. And if we were to go back and be able to hyper gather information on a just extreme minute level of every celebrity that's ever lived, like, you know, if we knew everything that the Beatles did or everything that every president probably ever before social media did, or every person that's rich, powerful, and famous did, Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine the shit that Leonardo da Vinci probably got up to? You know, can you even imagine?
Celebrity was not
Like-
what it is now then.
Dude, I am probably pretty sure that, like, bitch, I got a flying machine. And they'd be like, what? And he's like, come over here and I'll paint you and we can fly, we can drink wine, and we'll explore the horizons of the body of anatomy. Look at this drawing of a dude's pee-pee that I drew. And like,
Yeah, and
you
then
know,
they walk into his workshop and there's all these cadavers he's carved up to find out about the insides and drawing them, and they're like, oh, it really smells in here, and he's just like,
sick, dude.
Da Vinci, dude.
Just being myself, bro.
Yeah.
But you know, there are humans are freaking weirdos, and the more power, money, influence, and lack of consequence that humans get, it's the ring of power, man. It becomes the precious, and they go crazy like Gollum. And yeah, we don't need to know. I mean, we probably need to know so that they don't keep doing it, but I don't know. It's a weird philosophical. We could teach a class on it. It's all ethics and philosophy, and it's weird. Where's Socrates when you need him? You know, Bill and Ted's. Night Owlishly says on Twitch, I'm unwilling to give up on enjoying creative content. I also don't give up purchasing from every single business or company that does stuff against my beliefs. Can you imagine the depth of time it would take to take every product out of your life that was overlapped with something you didn't believe in? It's too much. Agreed.
yeah, what
because
if you find out that Jimmy Dean was a butthole?
God, those sausages though, dude. But I mean, but 100% correct. You know, to track down every source of vileness that is in an average consumer's life, you know, oh man, it's that's a rabbit hole you can't win. So it's just do the best you can. And you know, do I eat Chick-fil-A anymore? No. Do I crave that chicken from time to time? Absolutely.
Just put pickle juice on the chicken you got, same thing.
Hell yeah. And sometimes I've even thought about it, but then thank God there's a huge line out there every single time which defers me from giving in to temptation. But it's just too much. It's too much. So anyway, Dina says on Twitch, this conversation is what we base whole careers on in the humanities. And yeah, I know. And this show could go on for 3 hours about it, but we got more news to talk about.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
what's up?
in the news with all of those people we were just talking about that are not cool people and will probably be canceled, and everyone loves them right now but might not tomorrow. The SAG and PGA both occurred.
Oh God, we're talking to Mark Wahlberg under fire right now.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. You'll have to enlighten me in a second.
Well, he
But-
presented award to Asian people, and
Oh,
which is kind of in
okay.
poor taste because he beat up some Asian people that one time.
that old dude, he beat the hell out of an old Asian man back before he was Marky Mark. Yeah. Super racist because he's from Boston. So at the SAG Awards, some of the more noticeable things: Sam Elliott won Male in a TV or Limited Series Outstanding Male for 1883. Then Outstanding in Supporting Role for Male and Female was Ke Huy Quan and Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Which is back in our AMC theaters this week.
Michelle Yeoh won for Outstanding Female Lead. Brendan Fraser for Outstanding Male Lead. All those those were kind of givens. And then Everything Everywhere for Outstanding Cast. I think when your lead and two main supporting roles take the awards in their categories, yeah, the Outstanding Cast is given. And then Top Gun won for Stunt Ensemble.
Oh, look at that!
How about that? And then
Look at that!
at the Producers Guild Awards, Tom Cruise himself got a Career Achievement Award. And then Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won for Best Animated. And then Till took award not long after its showing at the White House for it got the Stanley Kramer Award, which is for productions that illuminate and raise public awareness on important social issues. So, you know, sometimes award shows are not completely and totally dumb. But
As Al Topich says on Twitch, he says, Everything Everywhere is going to sweep the Oscars. That is a guaranteed, because the Academy could not be happier with such an inclusive and diversive cast. And they're like, no, all the awards go there so we don't get put on blast again. It's going to win everything, and it just happens to be a really, really, really amazing movie.
Well, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon's been back in the movie theater for like a month and a half.
know, I'm so
it's been there forever.
I want to see it. I've been recommending it to so many people.
It's
Yeah.
been there for weeks. It's not going to be there forever.
Well, they only show like one time a day, and it's always like right at I'm busy o'clock. So let's see here in the chat. Tyler on YouTube says, "When's the Tom Cruise Steven Seagal crossover?" Who knows? Maybe. Well, just ask Chatbot. It'll happen.
Yeah, I don't know that Tom Cruise would ever agree to work with Steven Seagal.
I mean, put it in Mid-Journey.
The man is just got his career achievement at the Producers Guild for being like Mr. Movies. He's 60. He's super into the movies. The worst thing anyone's ever had to say about him is that he's a Scientologist, which is something that he's fine with, and he's not done anything to hurt people with it. So
that we know of.
He's jumped on a couch and got wild on Oprah, and people are like, "Who's a Scientologist?" It's like, yeah, but has he ever hurt anyone? Not that I'm aware.
We don't know what they do in those Scientology meetings.
All he does, is pay a lot of money for.
They could be eating babies, and we would never know. Because where's the evidence? They ate it all.
The souls of aliens.
Yeah, two baby ghosts come and lead us there.
I want to know about these tons of people, Vince. Anyhow, I really doubt that Tom Cruise would ever agree to work with Steven Seagal on anything, because I just can't see that happening.
Well,
give me my damn Mission Impossible already, though.
Yeah, we need that. Any other news bits that I didn't have much written down this week other than the stuff that we've already talked about?
Sony is making a full-length adaptation of a Dutch short film called Gnomes, and it's going to be a horror movie about gnomes.
Remember David the Gnome, that weird show like that was on Nickelodeon? Like before they had Nick Kids or whatever they call it now, for where the face like goes burp, 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 and it makes kids more insane than they already need to be. David the Gnome, and it's a really weird show. And I think you can watch it on YouTube, and it was like a calming, very strange vanilla show. It's very, very strange. And I vividly remember the intro because there's these little gnomes like running, like isometric 3D view of this little gnome and his little gnome booty like running through the woods. And I don't know, I'm sure it'll ruin all my memories of David the Gnome seeing killer gnomes.
Yeah, well, it's being produced by Sean Levy, the dude that does Stranger Things and has teamed with Ryan Reynolds for a couple movies like Free Guy, Deadpool 3, things like that. So Sony producing a horror movie, that's something that we'll see where that goes.
Oh, here we go. Check this out. I'm just gonna get in here with this. Like, how peaceful is this? You know, kids don't have this anymore. It just makes you happy.
Doing do not get our show taken off because we're listening to some.
I'm pretty sure that like Vares Saraband is not going to cancel us for playing the World of David the Gnome theme. Like, yeah, and there's like the fox that they would ride on, like David the Gnome, and David is like. Little David the Gnome had like magic gnome powers, and there'd be like a feud between like, you know, chipmunks and squirrels, and he'd be like, all right, this bullshit's gotta stop with happiness, and like he'd like fix it. David the Gnome was pretty awesome.
It's like Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, 1.1 million views can't be wrong, says Vince. Tyler asked, wasn't he a doctor? Pretty sure he was a doctor. There was trolls, Night Ashley says over on Twitch. There were trolls. They were like the clumsy bad guys, you know, the Gargamels of the Smurf world. Yeah, anyway, I can't play the Neverending Story theme song. I saw Neverending Story in the chat. Definitely can't do that because that is like that would get us put into copyright jail real fast. But David the Gnome, I'm pretty sure we can get away with that one. God, yeah, blast from the past. Okay, other news. Didn't have anything. Let's talk about the movies that are coming out this week in theaters, which is not much. February 28th, 2023. It's a slow week. And you're welcome, Night Ashley, over on Twitch. So thank you for that. February 28th, The Man in the Basement, an indie film coming out. It's about, I think, like a secret Nazi or something. It says, after a Jewish couple sells their basement to a former history teacher, they discover his secret is a life as an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. As the couple struggles to rescind the sale, the buyer befriends their teenage daughter. It sounds like kind of an inverse. You remember, what was that? There was a movie with Ethan Hawke, and there was like, and wasn't Gandalf, the guy that lived in the Apt Pupil. Thank you, Velvet Santa. He lived in the basement and was like a secret still Nazi. And it was like old guy Nazi, or a Nazi in hiding. He was like a high-ranking member of the SS that like lived in the neighborhood.
Evil Ian McKellen.
Yeah, Mark Landry, Apt Pupil. Anyway, I don't think this is a French movie, I believe, that is probably going to get a very small limited release here in the States, but it is coming out today. Also, Last Chance Charlene. It's another kind of indie comedy drama. It's about the main character reeling from her brother's suicide. Ha-ha, comedy. A writer-actress trying to pull her complicated life back together and finally making a break in her career. Starring Allison Ewing as Charlene, and then a cast of up-and-comers that are probably not going to get expanded release either. And then another documentary coming out this week called We Are Not Ghouls. It is about the Air Force attorney Yvonne Bradley, assigned to defend this man who was held at Guantanamo Bay. It's you can look it up. It's a documentary there. You can probably not see it at your local theater because it's probably not going to get another wide release. It's a lot of limited stuff.
Well, talking about things that aren't going to get another wide release, but it is exciting to find out that it will be coming out this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
In more than 200 theaters, a re-release of, or a re-release. Three R's, RRR, is hitting theaters again on the 3rd. Being brought back. They're starting that with a special event in probably LA or whatever. They're going to have the director, one of the stars, some of the people that were involved in the movie. They're going to have a whole special event. And then this weekend, it's going back into theaters for the 3rd time in the United States. So whenever I review Indian movies and things like that, just know that there is that audience out there. I know I got one or two
RRR
here
is
in
on
our
Netflix.
chat, but RRR was released on Netflix in the U.S., but this will be the 3rd time it's also been put into theaters for the United States, and that's exciting to see. A foreign film, one of Grip's foreign films, entering the theater again with popularity. So that's kind of a cool bit of things you don't get to see that often.
Well, the expanded release movies and stuff that's going to be hitting theaters near you this Friday are obviously Creed 3. You've been seeing the trailers for it. Everybody's gonna, it's different Rocky. So this one is follows Creed, where his old pal gets out of jail and they have a vendetta. And I'm trying to figure out doesn't this follow another Rocky storyline where it's like fighting your best friend? It's the first one basically, right? Doesn't he have to fight Adonis again or Apollo again in one of the movies? Huh.
So Rocky.
No. What's the one where he used to train him? Was that not one?
4.
That was part 4.
No. So Apollo trained Rocky in 3 to fight Clubber Lang. So the first Rocky was that Apollo found a nobody that he could get views with, and it was Rocky, and Rocky tied Apollo or lost in points or something like that. But it was so close, and Apollo got his ass beat so bad that they wanted a rematch because it wasn't the runaway fight that Apollo wanted.
Right. Okay.
And then in Rocky 2, Rocky won because it was just the rematch movie. And then in Rocky 3, Rocky's the champ. He's full of himself. Clubber Lang climbs up from nowhere.
3 and 4 I always get
beats
backwards.
Rocky in round 2 or 3.
Because that's Mr. T, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Apollo and his coach train Rocky to come up and fight hard again. And then he beats Clubber Lang. And then Rocky 4.
Ivan Drago. Everybody knows that one.
5 we don't talk about, which is Tommy Gunn.
That's the one I was thinking of.
No, the first Creed is just the Rocky 5.
Okay. That's what I was...
Because it's Rocky has a protege.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, well, and anyway, this is the sequel to Creed 2, obviously, because it's the third one. I'll go see it. You know, I mean, I've enjoyed the Creed movies up until this point. I really like.
No Rocky in this.
I like Michael B. Jordan. So I'm going to check it out. We will report back. It is coming out.
No Sylvester Stallone involvement whatsoever.
No, that is kind of a bummer.
So it makes me feel bad about supporting it, especially with all the things coming out about how he's not credited or given the proper credit for Rocky, and doesn't see any of the royalties and things like that from it. One fun thing about that is that someone took that poster and made Kang and Killmonger.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, and I had to put it together.
Yeah, because they're both Marvel bad boys.
So the other movie that has come out that hang on, I'm trying to find a fact here because I want to know why. I don't have the whole story here, but Operation Fortune. This movie is something that we reported on a long time ago. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. This was like 2 years ago we reported on this.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It was like 2021 or 2020 when this movie was filmed, and it got pulled. And I'm trying to find why, and I think, okay, found it. Here it is. The little quick Google search in there. It says, reports indicate that the film was pulled from release not due to COVID-19 pandemic, as kind of what the original pull was, but because it featured gangsters of Ukrainian nationality as the main antagonists, and they were afraid it was going to be kind of in poor taste with the whole Ukrainian-Russian conflict that's going on right now. And
370 days today or something like that.
Yeah, so this is a movie that I've been kind of excited about. Reviews have come back saying that it's a lot of fun. It's a little different from a regular adventure movie. I do like Guy Ritchie's sort of capery action movies. I don't necessarily like, his foray into Disney and things like this. But I also love this cast. I really enjoy Aubrey Plaza and Jason Statham and Carrie Ells and Hugh Grant and Josh Hartnett. And there is a lot of people in this movie that I really enjoy watching on screen. And so I'm excited about this coming out in theaters this weekend. This is the movie I'm gonna see this weekend for sure. Like, I'll see Creed, but this is the one I want to see.
How does Aubrey Plaza fit in with that crew?
Aubrey Plaza can do anything. There was a movie that she was in.
What was that? The Dates for the Weddings movie, though? Did you watch that?
Is that what it was called?
Dave and Doug need wedding dates or something like that.
I don't think I saw that one. Mike and Dave need wedding dates in 2016. Yeah. I did not see that, but I did see the movie that she was most recently. I really enjoyed was Emily the Criminal, which came out in 2022. That movie was fantastic and showed that she really does have a range as a not just a typecast actress, but somebody that has some character. And
she's also the chick that really wanted to bang on De Niro in Dirty Grandpa.
Aubrey Plaza, her sense of humor is pretty great, and and she's like my age too. So Aubrey, if you're listening, anyway, no, she's super funny. I love watching her on screen. She's a lot more talented than people give her credit for. And I think that this movie, while being an action comedy, I don't know, I'm looking forward to it. And God, geez, I hope that Guy Ritchie can return to classic Guy Ritchie. He has done some serious hits and some serious misses, but I mean, and Jason Statham's one of those dudes. I know we always make fun of him for the.
I like Jason Statham.
Well, we always say one last job. The job. We make fun. We say the job. You join in on that. Jason's not washing. We can say that he smells bad and he has booger nose. Like, he's not gonna watch. But we, I like watching Jason Statham movies. They're stupid in a fun, popcorny way. But I think this one's gonna be good. The Gentleman, as Tyler says, The Gentleman was a bit of a miss for me. I agree to a certain point.
But it's like internet meme, like
The Gentleman?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing but just like meme clips or just like YouTube short clips and stuff.
But if you've not heard the plot for Operation Fortune, it's Special Agent Orson Fortune and his team of operatives recruiting one of Hollywood's biggest movie stars to help them on an undercover mission when the sale of deadly new weapon technology threatens to disrupt the world order. So, sounds already ridiculous, but Josh Hartnett, sign me up, dude. I'm there, always. Put him in a movie, I'll check it out. And Carrie Ells, come on. When's the last time you've seen him? So, I'm ready for it. Those are the two big releases this week. There is another Demon Slayer release that'll probably get a Fathom event.
Wow, you're gonna have a busy weekend.
Yeah, it's the To the Swordsmith Village. I don't know if we're gonna get it here, but that is coming out in limited theaters as well. So, getting some indie stuff going on, and then two big major ones, and then some anime out there if you're gonna get it in your Fathom events. Although with the success of the last Demon Slayer release, I'm sure it might hit expanded faster than they might probably wait for Ant-Man to get out of some theaters, because that was another big bit of news. No one's watching Ant-Man.
I was going to talk about that when we got to the box office bit, but yeah, Quantumania had the highest drop in the second week for any Marvel movie ever so far, 69% drop. It's not that far away from what Thor: Love and Thunder, which was 67%, or Black Widow, which was 67.8% were, but it is enough of a drop that it claims that top spot for worst one. So enough people watched it that first week, which was like best in the Ant-Man releases. They were like, ooh, and then stayed away from it. It was a dumb movie. It was a really dumb movie. Nothing happened in it. All it was like, well, what if Ant-Man beat Kang? Oh, not the only Kang. There's millions more, and they're all better than that one. That was the worst Kang. So
the worst of the worst Kangs.
Yeah.
Let's see. Night Honestly on Twitch said, Jesus, I thought Josh Hartnett was dead. Actually, I'm not going to explain it all here on Twitch, but if you Google why he took a big hiatus from acting, you'll actually like him even more. Just a cool dude. Tyler says, try and make it to Crouching Tiger before it leaves theater. It's really great if you get to see it on a good screen. I would love to, and I recommend this movie wholeheartedly to anybody that's got Crouching Tiger, because it's like some anniversary showing of it, I think.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Michelle Yeoh takes over the world anniversary.
Yep. Which I'm okay for. It's been a long time coming. But all right, we got to review some movies. Let's talk about Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear in theaters right now, doing way better than most people predicted. I could have told you it was good. It had great marketing. It leans.
It has a great title.
It's a great title. It leans into what the internet loves to laugh at and make fun of. I mean, this is a Sharknado all over again, but with Elizabeth Banks in the driver's seat. So you could tell it was an Elizabeth Banks thing right from the get-go. It just the first opening, using the same song from Wet Hot American Summer, which she was involved in. It just you were like, you're in for something ridiculous. But yeah, we caught this weekend, and I'm gonna let Jake take the lead on this one and tell us what he thought.
Oh man, okay. Well, yeah, Cocaine Bear. I kind of talked about it a little bit. Was it in the pre-show somewhere? You said you only caught about 20 minutes on the original showing, so you watched it again. You get exactly what its title is. It's a bear on cocaine. It's loosely based on the true story of a guy who jumped out of a plane, parachute didn't open, he went kersplat in a dude's driveway. And then
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months later, they found a bear in the Chattahoochee Forest, and autopsy showed it had 3 or 4 grams of cocaine in its body.
So the Elsa and the Elsa and Olaf, all these hikers, this is all fantasy, right?
Yeah. So really, the whole thing was they just found a dead bear, found out that it had ate some of the cocaine, and then speculation was that it ate more than what it was found with the dead in its body.
It said 40 open plastic cocaine containers of cocaine around in northern Georgia. The bear is currently on display at the Kentucky for Kentucky Fun Mall in Lexington, Kentucky, which they have named it Cocaine Bear in 2015. It's actually on tour across the country right now, going to different openings of.
They never recovered any of it that was in the forest or whatever. But so the point is, they took this and they spun it into a horror movie, a slasher movie, but with a bear. And
As Velvet Santa just said on Twitch, the cocaine was like the bear spinach. It was some very Popeyean moments.
Kind of, yeah. And it was all it needed to perk up whenever it was down, or if it was injured in some way, just the slight hint of strong narcotics was enough to perk it up, and yeah, you know, yeah, the whole thing. It's a slasher movie, but with a bear. It's not like a Jaws type thing, where it's like a horror movie through and through. It's a comedy movie with lots of gore. And
it's very much a dark comedy horror.
Unstoppable slasher villain that has a habit of being anywhere that a victim is, no matter how much time it should take to get between them. You have all these human victims that are in different locations at different times, and yet the bear finds a way to terrorize and murder all of them at once. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't need to.
You don't. If you try to think about this movie, it'll mess it up. It's just there for you to watch it and wait for how the bear is going to kill the next person,
or how the other people are going to kill each other trying to protect themselves from the bear. And you know, the problem with movies like these is, you know, it's hard to fill 95 minutes with a cohesive plot line. So
there was too many human characters in it, and they tried to focus too much on the people's story rather than the bear that was out there, which is really all you wanted to see.
That's what we signed up for.
There was enough characters brought in, and some of them were goofy and some of them were fun, and you have to have the plot. The main plot is that there's a couple of kids that go into the woods, and then the mom has to go find them, and that was enough. But they kept more and more. Mm-hmm. And the kids, of course, do more cocaine than what would have killed that bear.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and they were fine.
They just ate it like a knife on a fork.
Right.
Cocaine on a knife, just ate it. Mark Landry says, way too many human characters. By the end, he had no idea who everyone was. Yeah, that's from YouTube. Yeah. And,
as long as you don't think about it or really even attempt to care, it's a lot. It's fun.
So
it does what it's supposed to.
Night Ashley was talking about like her favorite part where she laughed a lot in the theater. The part that I laughed the hardest at, which was weird because nobody in the theater, because I had to go back and watch the whole movie because at the drive-in I didn't get to see much, and the theater was packed, right? And people were just like ready to laugh. You know how like you go to those horror movies and everyone's just like ready to be scared. But
this one had jump scares though. There were several jump scares in the movie.
The part that I laughed the most on is when the cop got stuck on top of the gazebo, and then he's like, "Well, let me get down there," and he goes to the edge. And he's like, "Ooh, yeah." And he's just stuck. And I don't know why that cracked me up so hard because it was such a real moment.
So and there's things about it. Some of these people, like their deaths are gruesome and brutal, but funny. And you're like, oh, I didn't know I needed that, but that's amazing to see. And someone in the comments mentioned trauma movies. This is a trauma movie.
It is a trauma movie.
Or
could be.
It feels exactly like a trauma movie, especially when someone's just standing there minding their own business, and all of a sudden, their brains are not inside of their head anymore, and you're just like, where did that come from? And that's the kind of thing where I was like, I didn't know I needed to see that, but there it is, and that was hilarious. But then there's other ones where you're like, oh, well, why did they kill that person in that way? That's not fun at all. Well, so there's ones that were very fun and ones that were off screen and ones that you saw and you're like, well, that's a total letdown. It's a very hit and miss movie because it had what I wanted it to have, which was an insane killer bear on cocaine. But at the same time, it had too much of what distracted from that. Like they wanted to give the bear a redemption arc. They wanted to introduce villains because the bear isn't the villain, even though the bear is the villain through the whole movie. And then they wanted to focus on human elements, but the bear disrupts it too often to make you even care about that because the bear is what you want to see. And then they take the bear away right when you start to have the bear you want. You're like, yeah, the bear's there. It's mauling someone. This is what I want. And they're like, but here's emotion. And it's enough to take you out of it so that you can't enjoy what it is. But there's enough of the movie there that you don't feel like you got taken, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes. As Al said on Twitch, drugs are the real villain.
I guess that's true. That's the absolute truth of the movie.
Yeah. But the one thing that I'm glad you said that, because it does bring up something that I've said on previous episodes, not related to Cocaine Bear, but just in modern cinema right now, especially comedies, where it's like cocaine is like the new marijuana, you know? And this is something that, like, it's funny. As an adult, I can look at this and I can laugh. And this is, I don't know, I just feel a little weird about celebrating the fun and hilarity of illegal narcotics, you know? And because, like, drug use amongst young people is higher than it's ever been. And, you know, like, we all gotten to accept weed. You know, weed's okay. You know, it's legal in several places. But cocaine is still not, you know, and it probably won't be. You probably won't, like, have recreational cocaine use on the ballot anytime
no one's
soon.
heart's gonna explode after they toke reefer.
Right. And but we're seeing in movies where, like, marijuana's boring now, and, you know, like, Harold and Kumar, like, starting with weed, like, who cares about a stoner comedy? Everybody's a stoner comedy now. We got to up the ante, and now it's cocaine, and, like, kids are doing cocaine and bears are doing cocaine, and, like, ha ha ha, magic powers of cocaine. And there's a part of me where I'm laughing, but I'm also going, like, man, should we be really, like, talking about how great cocaine is?
I did wonder what the uptick in
cocaine use
in foot traffic to Chattahoochee Forest is, because at the end of the movie they go, and it was never recovered. How many people are going to visit a national park to try and find
cocaine.
it? Yeah, try and find DB Cooper's lost money. Which is just we're
gonna get reports of someone falling off of, like, a bluff because they thought they saw a cocaine bag in Chattahoochee National Forest, but way down yonder somewhere, there's some cocaine, I guess, on the Chattahoochee. Never knew how much that muddy water hid that coke. As a song. But getting the cocaine thing, we're not doing, like, fun adventure comedies off of heroin yet, you know. We're not doing I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know. Something inside me knows that it's wrong, but I'm still laughing most of the movie. So
really, yeah. I mean, there was enough that I understood it was a comedy, but there was nothing in it that made me laugh, I guess. Except for the one cop character who was cool, and then
so sweet.
He's one of the characters you don't get enough of. They started out where they're like, this one's going to be a big character in the movie, kind of like the detective in Halloween.
Yeah,
you know, and then eventually he just ceases to be in the movie. You're like, oh.
But he was he was a well-crafted comedic character, and he didn't get enough screen time.
You're right. Yeah, he was the best character. They gave too much time to Ice Cube's kid,
O'Shea Jackson. Yeah, he had a little too much time. And I could have,
for a character that didn't have much going on, they gave him a lot of screen time. I think because, you know, he was one of the bigger celebrities in the movie. Well, I mean, Ray Liotta, obviously. Ray Liotta's no longer with us, but and Margot Martindale, she's always fun. But it's out there, it's fun, it's silly, it's stupid. Is this a theater movie? Probably not. Like, I think this is gonna probably rip up Netflix. Oh yeah,
and, you know, and online. But
this is gonna be like, streaming big numbers.
Yeah, it's gonna be a monster hit on streaming pretty soon. So, and as Velvet Santa said, the TikTok guy, the guy that does there needed to be more of him, honestly. Like the characters like that, like the comedy characters, like there was too much of the people that weren't comedic characters in it, like the lady cop, or Carrie Russell's character. Yeah, Carrie, I could have done a lot less of her.
I could have used a lot more of
Alden,
the dude from Modern Family, Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I could have used more of him, and Margot Martindale. I could have used more of the old cop that's like just trying to do his job.
Well, and they put so much emphasis on the two guys that aren't good comedians, which is O'Shea Jackson and Alden Ehrenreich, or Aldenreich, however you pronounce his last name. Ehrenreich. Consonants, vowels, whatever. But you know, all the people that had comedic chops didn't didn't get as much screen time as they should have. So
Christopher, what's his name? Hivju, the guy, Tormund Giantsbane that Night Ashley pointed out.
Oh, he was pretty funny.
And they needed more of him in the movie. Like a lot of the people, they're like they gave you someone funny. You didn't get enough of the funny out of it. So I think it would have been better without the subplot story of the drug kingpin's son.
Whatever.
It was okay. It's not as fun as I wanted it to be, but it's not like it's not a fun movie.
Yeah. So Cocaine Bear in theaters right now. You can check it out. I know I put in the title that I was going to talk about We Have a Ghost. It's on Netflix. It's okay. I mean, I got really tired of it really fast. I mean, it was a cute movie. I don't normally review a whole lot of Netflix movies, but this was like a Netflix original. David Harbour is a super cringy looking ghost. Anthony Mackie, like I want to like Anthony Mackie a lot, but there's just nothing that he's in that really just stands out to me. Tig Notaro was in it. She's always funny, but they didn't get enough screen time.
Always funny.
Most of the time that I see her, she's pretty funny. I'm sure there's things out there that she
did a good job of filling in that zombie movie.
She was the best part of that zombie movie.
When they kicked old dude out.
And she didn't visit. She was like green screen entirely. Didn't interact with any of the cast. Jennifer Coolidge is always funny to watch. We're in a Jennifer Coolidge-assance right now. Had a cast of cameos and people, but for the most part, the primary cast was pretty dull. The gimmick wore out pretty quick, and as Vince said, the ending was not smart. Yeah. Or you're talking about Sharper? That's what they're talking about in the comments. I don't know. But We Have a Ghost. I don't know. There's better movies out there. What's the one with Michael J. Fox? Frighteners. Watch that instead. That's a way better movie.
Frighteners creeps me the fuck out.
It's such a good movie.
I like it. I like his ghost buddies though, the cowboy and the disco dude.
Yeah. Like Frighteners is a way better version of this movie
Is it creepy like Frighteners?
No, it's not creepy at all, but it is a ghost movie where somebody's like interacting with ghosts and they're, you know.
Frighteners is your balance of comedy and horror.
That's a really good movie.
Frighteners makes me laugh, but then scares the piss out of me too.
It's such a good movie. God, I need to go watch Frighteners again. It's so good. But anyway, there you have it. That's what's out. And we watched it. We're going to give you the box office roundup because that's what we do. Jake's going to give you the top 10 movies in America from February 24th through 26th, this past weekend that just passed. We're going to give you the top 10 because domestic totals are what base sequels off of. We talk about this every week. These are not worldwide totals, just so you know. And number 10. Take it away, Jake. After that yawn.
Yeah, well, first I do want to hit on number 11. Titanic is still hanging in there. It is out for 3 weeks in its anniversary release. So go Titanic. Coming in at number 10, remaining at number 10 in its 9th week out, A Man Called Otto, $850,000 brought in by it, $62 million at the domestic box office. Then still number 9, No Change, missing in its 6th week out, $1 million at the theater this past week, bringing its domestic total up to just shy of 31.5. And then a drop off by Knock at the Cabin, not seeing the numbers that anyone wanted it to have. 4th week out, it brought in $1.8 million this past week, bringing its domestic total up to just shy of $34 million for its total. The only good things I've heard about that movie is that people liked Batista. I hope that people liked Rupert Grint.
I like Batista.
I think Rupert Grint's a cool dude.
So you hate his character.
Good. I saw him do interviews and everyone's like, this is a turn for you. And he's like, it's fun.
Yeah. You hate his character, but you got to appreciate his performance.
I was going to say that means he's a good actor. If you're like, oh, stupid Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
But instead you're like, stupid guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. Number 7, 80 for Brady. In 4 weeks out, brought in more money than Knock at the Cabin, $1.9 million. Its domestic total is at 36.5. So this big, huge Shyamalan movie overshadowed by a movie that just came out of nowhere with a bunch of
grandmas
old ladies
trying to have sex with Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, go Sally Field. and Lily Tomlin. So there you go. You put them in a movie, people are going to want to watch it.
This is true.
Coming in number 6, Magic Mike's Last Dance. Ouch, man. 3 weeks out, Magic Mike brought in just under $3 million this past week. Its domestic total is only $23 million.
Not doing as good it's not as magical as I think they thought it was going to be.
Right, yeah. Well, it also did not get the kind of advertising and time for people to know it was coming out that the other 2 movies did, I think. And then number 5, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, whooping the shit out of all the movies we've talked about so far. $4.1 million this past week, $173.5 million in its 10 weeks in the theater. So I also saw a thing that said it inadvertently set up another Shrek movie possibility.
Yes, it did.
I need to look further into that.
You should check it out. It's pretty fun.
I imagine so. And then number 4, Avatar, Way of the Water, 11 weeks out, $4.8 million this past week.
I forgot. You know what? I forgot that I watched it.
Avatar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, man, I really should go see that. And I go, oh, wait, I did.
$665.5 million in the U.S. It's at like $2.2 billion worldwide. Just solidly at the 3rd biggest movie of all time. It's about $500 million shy of overtaking Adventures Endgame, and $680 million shy of claiming that top spot from the first Avatar. And then opening at number 3, a movie from Lionsgate, Jesus Revolution, $15.8 million.
Oh, that came out in a lot more theaters than I thought it was going to, honestly.
That's a lot of...
I didn't really report on it big because I didn't think it was going to get an expanded release.
2,500 theaters, same as Avatar right now. A lot of money for a movie that I didn't hear about. So, and then Cocaine Bear opened at number 2, brought in $23.26 million. I had read that it had 32. Maybe that was its projected total. But not bad for it. Regardless, coming in at the 2 spot when you have a Marvel movie at number 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, in its 2nd week out, $31.9 million, bringing its domestic total to 167. But that is even with the 70% drop from last week.
Well, and this is, again, funny to me because it's performing well as a movie would. You know, $167 million take. Like, I mean, of course, I don't know if they put $400 billion into making this movie. I can't imagine they would since they're churning this crap out. But they're like, the Marvel formula just isn't working. It's like you cannot constantly make $3 billion movies every month.
I've had more people tell me in the last week or 2 that they're over Marvel movies. People that were big Marvel fans have been saying that they're over the Marvel movies. They don't do the Marvel thing anymore, and they're burnt out on it. Yeah, welcome to where we've been for a while.
Like, I mean, speaking of, hang on.
I've even had people say they've gone back and watched some of the older Marvel movies and see why it's dumb. They're like, oh, I went back and watched some of the old ones, and I'm like, yeah, these movies suck.
Yeah, they're not great. I actually, you know, I want to highlight a little piece of bric-a-brac, even though nobody bought the thing on Twitch. But we had a viewer a long time ago. Him and his dad had like a CNC router set up at their wood shop, and they made this thing. And I've never put it up in the studio because I don't really like Marvel anymore. And it was this really cool thing that they designed and did. It's all wooden and, you know, etched. It's pretty badass. But like, it's all Marvel, and I'm not proud of this stuff anymore, you know, and I feel bad.
Dude, but it has the Thing, and it has 90s Cyclops.
It does have some cool stuff on it.
Dude, it has Omega Red.
Dude, it has some cool stuff on it. But yeah, thanks, John. I know you're probably not watching, but you know, we have some great viewers. Yeah, cool stuff. But it's just sad to see how it has fallen. Okay, well, yeah, that's your box office report. We are over time here, so we're gonna get out of here. But
I do just want to point out that Cocaine Bear only did $800 underneath Ant-Man per theater average. So
because Ant-Man's in a lot more theaters.
It's in about 1,000 more theaters, but 800 more theaters. So. But not bad for an R-rated slasher movie called Cocaine Bear that most families would be like, no. And then Ant-Man being like the big-time family movie available right now in the Marvel where everyone's like, you gotta know. So not bad.
Contractually obligated bug friends.
Not bad for an $800 difference. Yeah.
But anyway, as Vince just said on Twitch, he dropped the link to our Discord. If you want to jump into that chat, converse with everybody that's in our Discord, you can. Links right there. He just dropped the Chat GPT results from my idea for Space Cheers, and we'll see what that I'm gonna go look at that as soon as we wrap up. But anyway, that's our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can download the audio versions of this wherever it is you subscribe to podcasts. Just search for Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. Make sure there's that hyphen in Drive-In. And be sure to, if you want to participate in the chat, if you are listening to this on a podcast, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. We prefer Twitch. You can do all kinds of fun emotes and subscribe, which gives us money, which is great. And, it's not so rigorous and clunky and painful as Facebook and YouTube. So there you go. Anyway, any parting words, Jake? Nothing?
Wayne's World 3, party on. Let's hope it happens.
That would be pretty sick. All right, guys, we're out of here. I'm Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Slick Doggy the Grip.
We'll see you guys next week.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.